Hi, Dr. Phillips. This is Christina Kastner. I will be doing my ethical dilemma presentation. I would like to start off with defining what an ethical dilemma is. That is when an individual is in a situation where a decision that needs to be made regarding confidentiality that is difficult because the potential ramifications, and this was from ACA 2014. In our video, A Helpful Receptionist, Pearson Education. The video displays a presumed husband showing up to a counseling facility where he asks the receptionist at the desk to relay a message to his wife, and the receptionist acknowledged that she would pass on this message. When the client received the message, she was upset because of the current issues going on in her life with her upcoming divorce. The major problem in this video would consist of a client's presumed husband came into a counseling facility, asked the receptionist to pass a message along to his wife, and the receptionist agreed to this. The secondary problem that this video presents is the receptionist told the client the message to his wife, and the client was very upset due to the situation and what could occur in the near future with her husband. The client and her current husband are going through a horrible divorce and a difficult custody case. The client and her children could actually be potentially their safety be put in jeopardize. So I'm going to be talking about also the ethical, clinical, and professional violations. Ethical was, due to the client's confidentiality being disclosed. The clinical portion would be the receptionist tainting the integrity of the counseling facility, the trust of the client, future relationships with the client, and the future counseling progress. Professionally, this is due to the receptionist disclosing personal and private information to an individual that claimed to be a client's husband. This is related to violating the code of ethics by leaking out confidential information. The violations in this video was the ACA standard of B.2 and B.3. Here in Texas, the statute was 611.002, which dealt with the confidentiality of information and prohibition against disclosure. We also have the 22 Texas Administration Code of 465.13, dealing with personal problems, conflicts, and dual relationships. And last would be the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, which is HIPAA, was violated as well. The nature and dimensions of this would be the non-malefice is the responsibility of the professional counselor for them to have no harm due to their to the client. This is Barkin 2020. Fidelity involving the idea of honor, commitment, loyalty, and faithfulness. Forrester, Miller, and Davis 2023. We also have autonomy, which is the right to self-determination of choice and freedom from the control of others. And this is Forrest, Miller, and Davis of 2023. The two therapists and counselors that I chose was Dr. Phillips, PhD, and my friend Lisa Evans, who's also a family therapist. She has an LPS-S degree. Two organizations that should be involved in this would be American Counsel Association and American Psychology Association. There are different, potential course of actions that could be taken, such as notifying the authorities to make sure that the kids and the client are safe, consulting with another professional for advice, consulting a lawyer in case there is a lawsuit in the future. You can also do a write-up of the receptionist for conducting or breaking the ethics of the ethics of the code of ethics, as well as breaking the confidentiality of the client. And finally, we have a termination, which is to fire the employee just by, and also, giving her a clear understanding of the reasons why she is being terminated. With these actions, of course, have consequences. Notifying the authorities, that could put the client and her children, in danger. Consulting with a professional could also come to a breach of trust. Just seeking out a lawyer can cause, a future lawsuit potential. Anything that has to do with writing up the employee would be, as far as the counselor is concerned, is the mistrust of the receptionist. The client, she could have mistrust of the counselor as well as the facility. And the receptionist is the misconduct and the behavior of the facing consequences. And of course, when it comes to termination, the counselor, she would have, no employee to be replaced at the time. The client may have a feeling of guilt on the fact that the receptionist was terminated. And receptionist, her consequences, obviously going to be losing her job and a potential bad recommendation from the facility and the counselor. The action that I would take would, the action or, combinations of actions that I've decided to take. The action I have chose might, not be effective as a simple write-up and training. Honestly, it's, not severe enough of a consequence due to the major confidentiality break. I feel that it might seem cruel, but it assures that the client and the receptionist is being properly reprimanded, and the retaining all employees would be, retraining them would be very helpful to prevent any future violations. The evaluating course of action, my chosen action is to conduct a write-up of the receptionist and also do an ethical retraining. The employee would be put on a 90-day probation and given a time limit of when this training needed to be completed. We have justice, publicity, and universality. I consider, the anxiety, the stress, and what the client has to go through. I would think of the consequences, if they're fair or not. Publicity would be, hopefully, learning a lesson. And the universality would to be, to be able to pass the any type of disciplinary situation on to fellow counselors. The implications of all this would be, making sure that employees' training of, proper code of conduct, keeping confidential information behind closed doors when possible, provide all staff with proper guidelines and policies to help manage clients' information and code of ethics. I would also conduct with the training, to read and show different video scenarios of where ACA code of ethics were actually used properly. And finally, create maybe role-playing meetings that would practice the policy and procedures of any type of situation that may be faced in the future. Well, thank you very much. have a good night and